So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be interesting if I did another video talking about Mortal Kombat guest characters? Only this time around, rather than have characters that you could see in this, well, there are a few in this in these 5 characters on this list that you could see in Mortal Kombat, but it's very unlikely. But I decided, you know, these are characters that are probably never going to be in Mortal Kombat, but it makes sense if they would. And you know, we got Predator and Jason, so I guess anything's logical. But there are some legal reasons as to why probably some of these characters we'll never see in Mortal Kombat, although it would make a lot of sense. But there is some hope for some that you could see in Mortal Kombat. But this list more so is for fun. This is for more shits and giggles and me saying, hey, if I ran Mortal Kombat, these are the guest characters I would like to see in there. So it's not like the first one where you could see those characters like, oh, okay, that one works, that one works, that one works. These are more for a little more fun. So, yeah, and they're not in any order, so keep that in mind as well. But having said all that, let's talk about 5 more guest characters these are more like fan casting right here. So, without further ado, let's start things off with Azula. Now, Azula, I think out of all these characters that I'm going to talk about, all of these characters I'm going to be talking about, Azula is probably the most unlikely we'll ever see in a Mortal Kombat character, which sucks because she makes out of all the Avatar characters, she's probably the most Mortal Kombat-like. You could definitely see Azula as she looks like a Mortal Kombat character. So you could see her in this universe, along with most of the other Avatar characters. And I think that would be a very cool idea. But however, I doubt Nickelodeon will ever let them do it. Mike and Brian, on the other hand, if they had any creative say, would allow that. But I doubt Nickelodeon would allow one of their characters to kill people, even though we're pretty sure she killed people. And Azula is a very... Again, Azula... It would be cool to see Azula in a Mortal Kombat game. She looks like a Mortal Kombat character. And could you imagine her moveset? She would be this very fast-paced, quick attack type character. Probably sturdy amount on health. And a very good ranged... She would have a lot of ranged attacks, thanks to the firebending and, you know, the electricity she has. So, yeah. Among other things, I could imagine one of her fatalities is just grabbing somebody by the face and just start electrocuting them, and you just hear them screaming. They're trying to get Azula's hand off their face, and then you see their eyeballs explode out of their head. The face starts melting off, and then they just die. Azula just throws the person's head on the ground, then stomps on it and laughs insanely as she does. I think like another cool fatality for her is that she just grabs the guy by someone just holds him down, opens their mouth, and then just fire bends down the guy's throat to the point where his stomach just explodes. Yeah, I know, it's a reference to Godzilla, but admit it, Azula would do something that sick. Yeah, just grab the guy, force his mouth open, then just start fire-bending down the guy's throat to the point where his or her stomach explodes, or you see the body starts melting from the inside out, and the person just screaming and screaming, and Azula's just laughing the whole time. Yeah. But yeah, Azula, again, very unlikely. She's probably the most unlikely on this list, but admit it, you would play as Azula all the time in Mortal Kombat. Admit it, you would play as this character in the Mortal Kombat universe all the damn time if she was in here. And I'm pretty sure you could get Great Alile to voice this character because Azula's her favorite character to voice. So, telling her, hey, do you want to play Azula? Only this time you get to kill people and get to say fuck. And she'd be like, okay. Yeah. So there you go, Azula. Next up is Pinhead. Now, Pinhead, probably more, well, a few other characters have more likeliness in here, but Pinhead also would have a shot because obviously we had Freddy and Jason, and we're getting the Predator, so we have a lot of horror characters in here. Pinhead would be, if they wanted to go with another horror character, Pinhead is probably a very logical choice. Now, Pinhead, again, is another character you could see in the Mortal Kombat universe. You could have it that the box has found its way into Outworld. Shang-Chi or Shang Tsung or Quan Chi try to use the box to their own nefarious ends, release the Cenobites, and Pinhead just goes on this rampage throughout the entire universe. Again, he looks like something you would see in Mortal Kombat. Now, I'd imagine now, obviously, Pinhead's a very powerful demon. He's one of, according to some references, he's a general in Hell's army. So I could imagine that, you know, all the attacks you could use with Pinhead. Pinhead, I would imagine, also would probably be a slow character. He would be a lot slower, but definitely could take a lot of hits, kind of like I imagine how Jason's going to be. So I could imagine you could just summon chains with him, use the chains to start ripping, like, chunks out of people, use them to pull them, like, rather than just Scorpion's, you know, his spear move. Like, you could do a version of that, but instead of just one chain, Pinhead just summons all these chains out of like the ground or like off screen and just shoots them out, grabs the guy by like the shoulders, or, you know, just digs into the guy's flesh and he just yanks them towards him, and he can just slice them open or something. I don't know. But yeah, Pinhead is, I would imagine, like, you could even have, like, a special move where you could summon another Cenobite to, like, hold the guy for a few seconds, where you do a couple attacks on the guy you're fighting. Like, you could summon, what was his name? People called him the one called Chatterbox, the one you usually see, the one that always had his mouth moving. I think it was Chatter or Chatterbox, and the other one with the throat open, something like that. That would be a lot of fun right there. Just summon a Cenobite, or even have it that you could have your, like, that would be one of the fatality moves. Like, you have Pinhead summons the Cenobites, and they just start ripping off the other character's skin, and the character's just screaming, and Pinhead's just watching all this, and he's like, "We will tear your soul apart." That's my best Pinhead impression right there, folks. Yeah. So I think that would be really cool. Again, I think there's some likeliness for Pinhead. There's a good chance for Pinhead being in here because he's under the same obviously, I think he's under. If I remember right, and I could be wrong, I think he's under Warner Brothers, same as Freddy and Jason. So I think, and it looks like, yeah, they love doing horror characters. So yeah, why not do him? Or, you know, Michael's probably another one that's probably got some likeliness. I didn't think about Michael Myers until right now, but out of all the characters they've had in horror genre, I mean, Freddy and Jason's one thing, but Pinhead is would be the most logical choice to go to next. So yeah, Pinhead. Following that is Conan. Now, Conan is, again, a character you could definitely see in Mortal Kombat. You know, we have so many barbarian-type characters. You could have it that Conan has, like, he's been sailing, and then his ship crash lands and he's found his way to Outworld, and now the only way back is to fight his way through. Or even have it that, you know, another story could be that, you know, his world is being threatened by, you know, the forces of Outworld, so he offers to travel into Outworld and kill his way through everybody. So yeah, and again, you'd probably be wondering, well, who has the rights to him? I believe Conan's public domain, but actually, no, I think he's under Fox right now that I think about it. But yeah, now the big thing is, obviously, with likenesses. Now, would they go with Jason Momoa, or, you know, they probably, if they decided to go with, like, oh, let's do a movie version of Conan, they'd probably go with Jason Momoa's likeness because he'd probably be cheaper. Or, you know, I doubt they could get Schwarzenegger, but I personally believe if you wanted to have, if I could have Conan in this game, I wouldn't base it off the movie versions. I would actually have it as I'd actually base it off the comic books. We'd see, you know, the Dark Horse comics going on right now. So that's the version of Conan I would have, is that, that would be my version I would have in the game. Just not the movie versions, just the comic book version. We see, you know, the big, brawny muscles, the black hair, all that. So that would be my incarnation I would use for Conan the Barbarian. But yeah, some of it, I would imagine some of of Conan's moves would be, again, he would be a very sturdy character. You could just whip out the sword, slash a guy, put the sword back, grab him, start punching him in the face. Very brutal moves. Like, I could imagine one of his finishers would be that he just takes the sword, cuts the guy open from like from the top of the guy's throat all the way down to his groin, and then he just reaches in, starts pulling out organs, and then just starts strangling him with the intestines until the character's officially dead. I'm having too much fun with the fatalities. I do have issues. Yeah. So that would be one. I don't know about the other fatality. Maybe you guys could, maybe like rip somebody, you know, like maybe like rip somebody's heart out, then stuff it in the guy's mouth, grab the guy by the head, and then slam it so hard the head explodes. But yeah, again, Conan. I think Conan has also if they ever look at Conan, I think there would be a good chance of him, because again, he works very much in this universe. So yeah, Conan the Barbarian. Okay, moving right along now to the Terminator. Now the Terminator is again a 50-50 character. You could see, Ed Boon and everybody else at Mortal Kombat trying to get at. I mean, hell, they got Predator, and that was a a character from Fox. Now, Terminator, you could see in this universe that maybe Skynet tried to send a Terminator back, but it didn't. The time stream kind of fluxed, and it set him to an alternate timeline, aka Outworld. So you could do that, or even so that would be cool. The Terminator. Now, the big thing is, would you have him look like Arnold? I would have to say, because of obviously Arnold's likeness would be very expensive to use, I doubt they would do that. So, but he doesn't have a license on the entire Terminator skin, like obviously the metal form. So I would have it that it would just be the full-on T-800, no human tissue needed. So I would say that would be a really cool move. That would be a smart idea if they did decide to go with the Terminator. They could just use, rather than just use Arnold, they could just use a full-on exoskeleton, T-800 exoskeleton, and use that. And rather than just use guns, like obviously bullets and stuff, you could, how about like as a fun reference to the 80s movie, use like the T-800 laser rifles. Oh, that'd be so cool. Just have that strapped to the T-800's back. He whips that out and starts firing, puts it back. I think that would be really cool. Also, since we're talking about Terminators, it would be awesome. I think it would be absolutely awesome what if they didn't use the T-800, but instead used the T-1000? Oh, that would be so cool if they used the T-1000. Again, you could probably use this guy's. You could probably use either Brian Young Lee or Robert Patrick's likenesses, because obviously I think they would be a little more cheaper to use. I mean, they'd probably be a lot more cheaper to use than obviously Arnold. So. And also, if you use the T-1000, you could have a whole array of attacks to use. That would be, like, you could just create blades for arms, you could create a spear out of the gel, and the teleporting move, you just turn into liquid in the ground, sink under the guy's feet, come up behind him, and then just start stabbing away at him. And for, like, an evading move, you can just create a hole around your body. Yep, there you go. Can't punch me now, bitch. So again, I think either the T-800 or the T-1000. The more I think about it, I think I would like to play more as the T-1000 than the T-800. But obviously, I think they would go with the T-800 because that's the more popular one. And again, this is an if. This is just me talking all hypothetical and shit. So keep that in mind. But again, I think it would be a lot of fun to play as either the T-800, but more fun. Way more, in my opinion, just my opinion, it would be way more fun to play as the T-1000, because then you've got a whole array of attacks at your disposal. And I can only imagine I can only imagine the fatalities. I can't think of anything right there. Like maybe, like the T-1000 just grabs the guy, like his fingers just go into the guy's nose. And they start extending and becoming liquid, and then you start seeing spikes just start shooting out of the guy's body again and again. Like they just you just see these huge spikes, and this heat, and your opponent character is just getting impaled over and over again from the inside out until eventually he pulls him out and pulls the guy's head off along with it, and then just crushes the head in his hand. Again, I'm having too much fun with these fatalities. I can't think of another one, but that would be one I would use. But, yeah. So that would be... anyway. that's pretty much it for the Terminator. But anyway, let's move on to the last character that I would like to see, that I would think would be an awesome guest character in Mortal Kombat, but probably doubtful. And that character is Akuma from Street Fighter. Admit it, Akuma works on so many levels to be a guest character in Mortal Kombat. This dude kills, this dude is incredibly powerful, and he just looks like a Mortal Kombat character. He just looks like a Mortal Kombat character, and could you imagine all the, like, if he just cut loose in an M-rated game, you could actually see what the Satsui no Hado is. Probably something very powerful. And awesomely gory. Let's not kid ourselves on that. So that would be the that would be a very cool move. Actually, like, you see what the Satsui no Hado is. That would be super awesome. Like Akuma, like I said, works as a character in Mortal Kombat. Like, he's someone you could see walking around in Mortal Kombat. Maybe have it that maybe Quan Chi summons Akuma to fight under Shinnok's army, but Akuma's like, we're not having that. And proceeds to fight his way, because now he's entered a new universe where he sees all these characters not only being very good opponents for him, but also, like, they don't hold back. So now Akuma's in heaven. Akuma's totally in heaven right now, and he's going to enjoy killing his way through all these characters. But again, I think it's this is probably also, along with Azula, very high in the unlikely to see Akuma in Mortal Kombat. Reason being is because Ed Boon tried this before, with he proposed a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat game, but Street Fighter said, no, we don't want our characters to kill. Even though they probably have killed character. Bison's killed people, Balrog's killed people, Vega's killed people. A lot of our characters have killed people. Even Akuma's killed people, obviously. So, again, I doubt, because again, it's so very unlikely that Akuma would ever be in a Mortal Kombat game, but if he was in one, you damn well know the sales would increase by over 9,000! Sorry, I just had to use that joke. But yeah, 3 out of 5 have more... Pinhead, Conan, and the Terminator probably have a better shot than Azula and Akuma do. But you guys tell me, what characters... Again, I'm asking this again, so what... excuse me. What characters would you absolutely love to see in a Mortal Kombat game that are more unlikely, but you could... They're more... this time around, characters that are more unlikely to ever be in Mortal Kombat, but at the same time, you could see them in the Mortal Kombat games. Yeah, there's the better way of putting it. So, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and again, this wasn't really a top 5 list, this was more of just me saying, like, I had so much fun, and I got 2 out of 5 right the last time. I'm just gonna throw this out here. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.